morning, y'all. Welcome back to Kim's Southern Sanctuary. Driving to work this morning, and I have something I feel like I really need to share. It's been heavy on my mind and heavy on my heart lately. As a lot of you know, I work in the field of education. I taught in the classroom for almost 18 years, and last year I switched my position switched over, and I became a behavior strategist or a behavior interventionist. We work with kids who are high risk, with behavior, and most importantly with emotional issues. I don't think people realize right now that the emotional and the mental health of our kids is bad. It's really bad. And I feel like as someone who works in the education field and deals with kids on a daily basis, especially middle school kids, that I need to get this out there so that parents and really anyone can start becoming more aware of the mental health of our kids right now during the pandemic. So when COVID hit, our schools basically, they just shut down and we all went into isolation. And as adults, it's hard for us to deal with it, but we have coping mechanisms that we learn throughout our life, and we've been able to deal with it. But our kids, they don't have those coping skills to cope with the isolation and the separation from their friends. We know that in middle school, it's extremely important for our kids to be social. They thrive off being with their kids. That's their lifeline. And right now, a lot of kids still aren't in school. Now, in the South, I know it's different. I think the majority of the southern states, the kids are in school on whether a full-time basis or a hybrid basis. But there are a lot of kids in our country that are not in school, and they are isolated. You see reports on the news of teenagers committing suicide, and you don't think it's real, but it's real. I'm telling you, it's real. I've worked with many, many kids over the past couple of weeks who have dealt with suicidal thoughts and suicidal actions. When you have a child who sits in front of you with gaping wounds on their arms because they wanted to hurt themselves, it's real. It's real. It's scary and it's real. And these are kids who are at a higher risk anyway for mental health issues because they may come from a single parent home, a home where there's addiction. They come from split homes go to one parent one week and one parent the next, and these kids just don't have what they need. My kids are very lucky, and they have what they need in our home. They have two parents. We're stable. We have stable incomes, and we're constantly on the lookout for signs of issues with our kids. But there are a lot of kids out there that don't have that, y'all. And it's a shame. I saw 3 kids in one day, I think last week or the week before last, who were suicidal. They were having those suicidal tendencies. And in our parish, when that happens, we have to do what we call a when lightning strikes. And basically what it is we have to contact the parent, and those kids have to go see a physician, whether it's their pediatrician or whether it is a mental health professional, and we provide them with people who they can go see. But they have to be released to come back to school. A lot of times, if they go to a pediatrician, they will not release them to come back. They will send them on or refer them over to someone else. We have even had to go to the juvenile courts to petition mental health screenings for kids. So it's real, y'all. So gist of all this is please be aware of what's going on with your kids. If you don't talk to them on a regular basis about what's going on in their lives, you need to. I have a 13-year-old and 11-year-old, almost 12-year-old, and I, on a daily basis, am talking to them about what's going on, how they're feeling. You know, kids do a great job of covering up what's going on in their lives, and they will hide things because they don't want to disappoint their parents. You know, they think that if they're feeling suicidal or feeling depressed or having anxiety, that makes them less of a person, and it doesn't. The kids that I work with on a daily basis, I let them know that I myself struggle with anxiety. I struggle with depression. It's normal for us to have those feelings. That's why we have them. We have those feelings for a reason. But we need to be more aware of what's going on with our kids. Number one, get them off social media. Social media is a huge driving factor in anxiety and depression in our teen kids. Like, kids are mean on social media. I can't tell you how many hours a day administrators spend investigating or having to talk to kids who are in the midst of some type of social media junk. It's horrible. Get your kids off social media. If they do have social media and you allow them to have that social media, then you need to be checking that regularly. Here's the thing. Teenagers who have social media have two separate accounts, whether it's Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. They have the one that they want their parents to see, and then they have a second one where they post all the stuff for their friends. So you need to be digging in their business. Plain and simple. My kids don't have social media. They have phones, but they don't have social media. They will text their friends, but I'm going to tell you this. I dig through those text messages, and if it's something that I don't like, I delete it, and then I tell them, you let your friend know I better not see it again, because if I see it again, I'm taking it. So social media plays a huge role in the mental health of our children. Get it away from them. Secondly, if your children are doing virtual schooling, they need to be allowed some time where they can interact with their peers. You know, our kids are being jammed up in their house. They're isolated if they're virtual. Parents, get your kids out, do something. And I know things are limited in what they can do. If you can get them in a sports activity, that's great. They somehow need to be with their peers. You've got to get them out of the house. You've got to get them out from underneath or out in front of the screens. Thirdly, talk to your kids. You're their parent. You have every right to know what's going on. You let them know that they need to be open with you. If they are struggling, they need to tell you. When we have to contact parents about their kids who are having suicidal thoughts or self-harming thoughts, that's pretty tough to tell a parent, because when you're telling them and you stop, a lot of times you get a long pause because they're floored. They have no idea what their kid is going through. They have no idea that their kid is even having these thoughts. So you need to talk to your kids on a regular basis. Question them. What's going on? How are you feeling? Don't be afraid to talk to your kids. And then, fourth, if they are having some issues, you need to get them some help. Go to your pediatrician. Your pediatrician or your family doctor can refer you somewhere. Don't be ashamed to have a child who needs some help. They need somebody to talk to. And a lot of times, they're going to be more willing to talk to a counselor or a therapist or a family friend rather than their parent. Straight up gonna tell you. Because they're afraid that they're gonna be a failure in your eyes. If you don't know what's going on with your child, I recommend that right now you start finding out what's up with your kids. Ask them about how they're feeling. Ask them about how they feel about being hybrid, being virtual, all this other stuff. I have a 13-year-old and she's on hybrid and she hates it. And she'll straight up tell you, I don't like not being at home. I don't like not being at school. I want to be with my friends. I want to be able to socialize. These kids need to be in school. They need to be with their peers. It is important. And if you're a homeschooling mom, y'all know that socialization is beneficial for these kids. If you're homeschooling and your kids aren't involved in any extracurricular activities, there's co-ops everywhere, there's theaters, there's sporting groups. Get your kids in activities, get them with their peers. Just know what's going on with your kids. So I hope that was beneficial. If y'all want to see more stuff like this, leave a comment down below. I work in education. My eyes have been opened this year, especially working more with our middle school and teenage kids. It's such a critical age. And I have a lot to share. If there's something specific that you want to know, coping strategies for depression, anxiety, self-harming, give me a shout out. You can follow me over on Instagram at Kim Southern Sanctuary. Send me a message. I can help you, give you some advice, or send you in the right direction to get your child help, or if you're struggling yourself, to get yourself some help. So I hope y'all have a good day. Prayers for our young kids, any kid right now who's struggling with mental health, us parents who are also struggling with mental health. We just need to support everyone and provide what we need to for our young adults and our teenagers. So hope y'all have a good day, and I'll see y'all later.